Welcome, everyone, to our Resilient, Wild, and Unstoppable interview series. And I'm so excited. Today we have Melisa. And in talking with Melisa initially, just to learn more about what she has coming up, oh my gosh, you all want to listen to this. So I'm curious, Melissa, what inspired you to create this fabulous retreat in France? It just sounds amazing.
Yes, I'm a publisher, and over the last year and a half, I've built two communities around two different books. One is called Modern Day High Priestess, and the other one is called Embracing Your Eros. Eros. And so I've got these two communities of individuals, and we're steeped in conversation around what does it mean to be a modern day high priestess, and how are we stewarding the power that we're stepping into and the embodiment that we're stepping into, and creating inclusive spaces and things like that. And then in my Eros community, we're talking about how do we deepen our practice with pleasure? How do we deepen our like vitality and our connection to like the love and all that is, and again having conversations around inclusivity, and that book is just so juicy and rich and full of all different kinds of stories, different backgrounds and orientations and everything. And so and Modern Day High Priestess just launched 2 weeks ago, and Embracing Your Eros is launching in about a month from now. And so, with both of these, it was very vulnerable for me to hold space for both of these projects. And what has kind of emerged from that is I am a teacher in both of these things. That's why I cared enough about both projects to bring the communities together and run the books and help support these people to become best-selling authors and sharing their authentic story. And what more perfect way to like kind of embody all of the learnings that I've gained from, learning so much from everyone's stories and things
Mhm.
than to create an in-person, we're calling it the Magdalene Pleasure Pilgrimage, Return to Your Wild Roots. And it's exactly a marriage of modern day high priestess and embracing your eros.
That is awesome. It sounds so fabulous. And I'm curious, what got you on that path of being an uh, publisher? I wanted to say author, a publisher.
Author and publisher. Yeah. So, I got into serving people online and kind of connecting to a deeper purpose in the world and stuff about 8 years ago, when I did my first life coach training and ultimately niched down and became an intimacy coach. And so I worked with couples and primarily women, supporting them about how to open themselves up to receive deeper intimacy. And I love that work, and I still do some of that work. But publishing kind of started to take the forefront when in 2021 I was published for my first time, and like loved the process, did it several more times as much as I could. um, and realized that it was a similar work, like the stewardship of guiding people to greater depth and vulnerability and connection in their relationships was really similar to the stewardship of guiding people to open up and get really authentic and raw and vulnerable with their own story and share it and claim it as medicine. And I loved the process so much. I've only ever been published in multi-author books. And so I was like, I want to be a bigger part of this. So I had the opportunity to become CEO of a publishing company
Wow.
2023, and facilitated lots of solo author and multi-author books there, and then ultimately decided to start my own publishing company in 2024. So I founded the Heart Open Publishing Enterprise, and the rest is history.
Wow. Now hearing about the publishing and your coaching niche niche and then this retreat all coming together, it sounds like this magical marriage of everything
hmm
coming together. That is awesome. If with everything that you've worked on, what what are three or four tips that would be useful for our community that you would want to share?
Well, let's see. If we're speaking to, do you have primarily women in this community?
I think it's primarily women, but there are a few good men.
So we're speaking to wild, resilient, and unstoppable. Is that right?
Yes.
And women. And primarily people who have a passion, have a connection, have something that they want to share. Um, I feel really convicted around supporting people to share their authentic story, that our story contains healing codes. And as soon as we decide to take a mistake and determine it's a lesson and begin to draw those lessons from it, it starts to become medicine first to us and then as we share it to others. And that's not to say that everything has to be shared. Like true authenticity and vulnerability doesn't mean that you have to tell everything.
Mhm.
There's a sacred connection with self that goes into that process. But often I see people creating businesses and then hiding behind the business when really more and more, especially because of, AI and all of the things that are available to us, people hire because they cared and connected with you and your story. And so that's a big passion, is supporting people to lean in and do that. When you talk about, legacy and things like this, and how are we really making impact?
Hmm.
There's speaking, which you do a fabulous job of helping people to share their stories and have a spot at visibility and have practice in doing that, which is so valuable and so important. And then we talk about books, and a lot of people right now, it's like one, you may know you want to write a book, but feel like it's an insurmountable task. Or we have people in the other camp who are like, what is the value of books nowadays, anyways? And that both of those are like, very real considerations, because right now there's the last statistic I heard was over 20,000 books a day being uploaded onto Amazon.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so how do we even like try and carve a mark in that space, and what do we use a book for? And I think that the combination of being an author and being a speaker is extremely powerful, because
Yeah.
the thing is I can do a powerful live, last year I went live, I did this, I'm getting ready to do another one, Empowerography live audition to be a speaker in this big conference. And it was my most viewed video of the whole year, thousands of views and all kinds of, comments and people reaching out and people talking to me about that talk for the whole rest of the year. But
Wow.
now I'm the only one talking about that talk. I'm the only one that remembers that got a bunch of hits and whatever, whatever, right? And that's kind of the nature of social media, or of these like moments that we do. And so a book is something where we get to pack it up, all of this, our story, our lived experience, our trials, our triumphs, and bring it together in something that builds legacy.
Hmm.
So I love to help support people to do that. And there really is value, when you can hand someone the pages and they can set it on their nightstand and stuff. So there's a little tidbit to people who are interested in making deep impact in the world.
Yeah, and so often, one thing that really caught my attention was really stepping into that vulnerability of telling your stories. Yes, I can speak. Yes, I can, help others share their message. And sometimes being vulnerable, not the easiest of tasks,
Yeah.
especially in this social media world that we live in. So that was something that actually came up in a past conversation earlier today of
Mhm.
how do you actually create those magical stories, from everything that you've lived.
You've lived. Yeah, I actually have a free resource that speaks directly to that cat. So, on my website, if you go to melisakeenan.com or heartopenpublishing.com, there's a free guide and it's called your Story Code Activation Workbook. And it's really meant to be kind of like a working journal that, you print out and keep by your nightstand or keep into a electronic document and fill out as you kind of feel called to. But it takes you through moments in your past, moments in your present, vision that you have for your future, because not all of our desires are unique and different and make up like our unique blueprint. It also takes you through like dream work and what do your dreams speak to you about
Mm.
your story and who you are and the medicine that you came to deliver to the world and stuff. So yeah, I have a resource, and that gets you, of course, into my community, onto my email list and stuff as well. Yeah.
Seems only fair that I would ask that question.
I know that was pretty perfect.
Oh my gosh. This has been so much fun talking with you. Is there anything else that you want to share while we are recording?
I think, yeah, the last thing that I would love to speak to is there are quite a few people who have seen the value of participating in a multi-author book and have done so. But then there's this timid trepidation about telling anybody that you were a best-selling author or that you have a book or whatever. And so yeah, is that you, Kat?
I got two over there. They're all sitting on my shelf, and I have two more in the works.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. That's so exciting. Yeah.
Um,
So my encouragement would be put that in your bio, put that at the top of your social media, banners and things. Let people know that you have books. And also, you can really leverage those books for things like podcast interviews and speaking opportunities by, and now that you have a few books to choose from, kind of feeling into like the host and gifting them your book. And it's such a like, doors wide open kind of a thing to receive a gift like that. It just opens up a lot of doors for people. So my encouragement would be tell the world about that. Use that. Let people know. Yes.
I think I just got called out.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. This has been so much fun. And yeah, maybe I need to speak about those, but I'm excited about the next ones that are coming forth this year. And then after that, it's going to be a solo book. I don't know
Mm.
when,
Yeah.
maybe wait a year or two, but then it's going to be a solo book.
Awesome. I love that.
I'm just working up to it.
Yep.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa. I am so glad that we cut this time to get together and share more about your story and what you have coming up.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.